Robert Craig, just an old man reading from his Bible. I'm the old man, and this is the Bible I read from, the Holy Bible, King James Version. We've been talking about the crucifixion and what day the crucifixion took place. Grab my note, my little crib sheet right here. We left off in Luke 24. And it was at the road to Emmaus. Yeah, here we go. And he said, let's see, the disciple said to Jesus, not knowing who he was, he said, I presume he's referring to the crucifixion and the burial. And beside all this, today is the third day since such things were done. King James English is a little different. It's a little archaic compared to today. And today is one word, but in King James Day it was two words, today. And the reason they called it today, it kind of goes to the etymology of it has something to do with things that are here and things that are merely approaching, like on the morrow, something that will happen uh, 2 days in the future, 2 days hence. That would be like um, it's just merely approaching. But when it gets up to the point that something is scheduled on the morrow, we would say tomorrow. The event has proceeded to the morrow. And the day that we're in, the day that we're experiencing in the present, is the to day because it's here. It's the concept of to, fro, to, fro. To and fro, we understand. We still use that. But today is the day that has come to us. And that is what he's saying. This day, or today, that's what he means, is this day. Today is the third day since all these things happened. And he continues on, yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. When they found not his body, they came, saying they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre, and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Then he said unto them, this is Jesus speaking, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things, and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. The point being, when a person speaks of today, this day that we're in is going to last until the sun goes down, if you're going by Jewish timekeeping, which for the sake of this narrative, we are in a Jewish form of timekeeping. And of course, we know what happened. He was, as he blessed and broke the bread, their eyes were opened. They saw him for who he was, and he vanished out of their sight. And they realized, we should have known, because this just didn't seem like some stranger that we would run into on the road. But other things that are accounted for on on the day of the resurrection. Let's go to John chapter 20. And it's speaking of the first, the resurrection day. Verse 1, the first day of the week, cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. So that was on the first day of the week. And look here at verse 19. Then the same day at evening, in other words, as that resurrection day was coming to an end, first day of the week, which we call Sunday, being the first day of the week when the doors were shut and where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews. See, they were hiding. They were kind of holed up. Came Jesus and stood in the midst and said unto them, Peace be unto you. Back to Mark 24. They constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. It's almost evening. And he went in to tarry with them, and it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures? And they rose up the same hour and returned to Jerusalem, found the 11 gathered together, and them that were with them, saying, The Lord is risen indeed, and hath appeared to Simon. And they told what things were done in the way, and how he was known of them in breaking of bread. So that was at the end of that same day, the first day of the week. And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them, saith unto them, Peace be unto you. John 20. When the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst, and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. Same occasion, no doubt. And the same, at the end of the same day. This may have been, the appearance of Jesus to them might have been after sunset, but not too long after, if that. So in Matthew 16, another point to be made, just to kind of reinforce the idea. I think Matthew 16 and 21. Now this is during Christ's earthly ministry, shortly before his crucifixion. From that time forth, I want to reinforce that Jesus himself said this. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and rise again the third day. And chapter 17, verse 23, where he reiterates. Well, let's start with 22. Matthew 17:22. And while they abode in Galilee, Jesus said unto them, The Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the third day he shall be raised again. And they were exceeding sorry. And chapter 20, same gospel, chapter 20 and verse 19. Well, let's just make it 17. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way, and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles, to mock and to scourge and to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again. And lastly, 1 Corinthians 15, and we should probably all be pretty familiar with this passage by now. 1 Corinthians 15, and this is the gospel, the one we pin all our hopes on. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain. And that whole doctrine of believing in vain, I think a lot of people have that a little bit skewed also, and that may be the next thing I take on. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm seeing what I'm reading, and I'm believing what I'm seeing. Verse 2, by which you're saved, if you keep in memory what I preached unto you, lest you believed in vain. So they're saved by that gospel, is what he's saying. Verse 3, for I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins, according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the Scriptures. So it wasn't some surprise that it happened on the third day instead of the fourth, that it was according to the Scriptures. It had been predicted. We just looked at several of them. Jesus himself said that would happen. So, just using simple logic, Sunday, the first day of the week, we clearly established, let's say the Bible established it, that was the third day. Well, that means that Saturday, the Sabbath, would have been the second day, and that Friday would have been first day after the crucifixion, and Thursday, therefore, would be the 0 day, or the day of. It's the actual day of the crucifixion. And when Jesus told the thief on the cross, let's see, that was in Luke 23:43. The thief on the cross, who's being crucified right next to Christ. 23:43. Nope, can't be 23:43. Maybe 24:43. Anyways, I've lost it. But he told the thief on the cross, I misprinted my notes, I must confess. But he said, today you will be with me in paradise. And today is only today until sundown. That means Jesus went into the heart of the earth, not when his body was buried, but at the end of that 3 hours of total darkness, when he cried out and said, "Oh, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," and then he said, "Father, into thy hand I commend my spirit." And he gave up the ghost, which is the spirit. And when that happened, guess what? His soul departed, and he went to Abraham's bosom, which was paradise at that time, and I guess it still is. But he had promised the thief on the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise." And the thief died before he did, I think, or maybe around the same time. And they broke their legs so that they would suffocate and die and get it all over with. But when they came to the Lord, they didn't break his legs because they found he was already dead. So at some point, probably around the end of that period of darkness, he died on the cross. But it was when he gave up the ghost, and that's clearly lined out. He said, "Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit." And having said thus, he gave up the ghost. And we know from Solomon, when he wrote in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, what happens when a man dies, when his body quits on him. Verse 5, I believe it is, it says, "Man goeth to his long home." And in several places in the Old Testament, when patriarchs would die and there was an account of their death, they were gathered to their people, which meant they went to the same place that their people before them had gone. And when David's son, a baby, had died, he said, I will go to him, but he won't return to me." And that's what he meant, that when he died, he would be gathered to his people. He would go to where his son went, which would, of course, been Abraham's bosom. And I just can't see it any other way. It seems like once you establish that the resurrection was on the third day, you count back to the 0 day, and it has to be Thursday. Now, some of my best friends that are grace teachers, Facebook friends, were saying, they hold to Wednesday still, and I don't hold that against them. And I just wanted to put my position out there, and I don't hold it against people if they hold to Wednesday, because after all, I held to it for about 30 years, and I was just as sure as I could be that I was right. But you know what they say, there's some things that once you see them, you can't unsee them. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I just want to put it out there that that's how I see it. So thanks for watching, and may the Lord bless this reading of His Holy Scripture.